People's National Party's parliamentary meeting is calling for the reinstatement of opposition committee chairmen. The parliamentary meeting of the People's National Party is emphasizing its call for the immediate reinstatement of the opposition's chairmanship of all sessional committees of the House of Representatives in the Jamaican Parliament. In a recent statement that was made by the leader of opposition business, Mr. Philip Paulwell, he said that the government's position on the change to opposition chairing of committees was disingenuous and unfair. Mr. Paulwell also went on to state that this action undermines the best practices of maintaining a high standard of accountability in Jamaica's parliamentary affairs. While the opposition chairmanship of the Public Accounts Committee and the Public Administration and Appropriations Committee is still in place, 4 other critical sessional committees that examine government policies and sector performances, which includes the Internal and External Affairs, Economy and Production, Human Resource and Social Development, along with Infrastructure and Physical Development, will be headed by Government Member of Parliaments. Mr. Philip Paulwell is contending that the government has failed to state their reasons for this change. They have changed a convention which has worked very well in scrutinizing policies, expenditure, and exposing maladministration and corruption, which includes breaches in the hiring practices and procurement procedures. According to Mr. Philip Paulwell, it appears now that with its 2/3 majority in Parliament, the government has chosen to pursue a strategy of cover-up, seeing that they now have more than the 2/3 majority that gives them more power in the House. According to Mr. Paulwell, the argument that was offered by the government is a strategy because meetings were curtailed due to limited space at Gordon House and a shortage of secretariat support services, and not on the lack of availability of members, as the government claims. Paulwell has stated that the Jamaica Labour Party members also thwarted the effectiveness of the committees by utilizing Section 77(7) of the Standing Orders, which mandates that the committees could only deal with matters referred to them by the House, which is controlled by the Jamaica Labour Party majority. He has also issued an argument that this is not the first attempt by the Jamaica Labour Party government to remove opposition chair, and that this new move is disingenuous and unfair, and also threatens the smooth operations of the country's parliamentary democracy. He has also said that the changes proposed by the government amount to a retrograde step, which may very well become the underpinning of an authoritarian regime inebriated on its parliamentary majority. Paulwell also made references to last week's announcement not being the first attempt by the Jamaica Labour Party government to remove chairmen from the opposition side, including the chairman of the Public Appropriations and Administration Committee, the PAAC. In the last parliamentary year, there were at least 2 attempts during the uncovering of improper spending practices and other procedural issues to derail the process because the government was embarrassed by the revelations of poor management and wasteful spending. Paulwell is also stating that, in terms of parliamentary structure, these changes that have been made by the government will serve to weaken the effectiveness of the opposition and the parliamentary oversight arrangements, and also devalue Jamaica's democratic tradition and its good relationship to advance Jamaica's cause. Paulwell has stated that the opposition is prepared to have discussions and agreements with the government on several issues to ensure that the committees are more useful, including a schedule of meetings for all committees, staffing, and venues. Mr. Paulwell is proposing a review of committee membership, and he is keeping in mind the 49-14 composition of the present parliamentary in Jamaica. Current state of 49-14 in the Jamaican Parliament is as a result of the September 3rd general elections, in which the Jamaica Labour Party took all of 49 seats to the People's National Party's 14 seats. Of course, this was expected, but still, the Prime Minister had mentioned that he would be extremely responsible and he would exercise accountability at all times. And of course, he further went on to charge the various Member of Parliaments and the ministers to exercise responsibility and accountability in all of their actions. Currently, based on the meetings that are ongoing, the People's National Party is pressuring the government over the chairmanships of various House committees. During Tuesday's sitting of the House of Representatives, Leader of Government Business Edmund Bartlett, who is also responsible for tourism, made a critical announcement. His announcement was that the chairmanship of 4 critical oversight committees will revert to government members. These committees include the Economy and Production Committee, the Internal and External Affairs Committee, the Human Resource and Social Development Committee, along with the committee that monitors infrastructure and physical development. Pressure is being brought to bear on the Andrew Holness-led administration to change to the Golden Convention with corruption watchdog National Integrity Action and the influential Jamaica Council of Churches, already urging that the government should uphold the practice in the interest of transparency and accountability in Jamaica's parliament. Now, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about these new developments in the Parliament of Jamaica. Of course, it seems like Mr. Paulwell is assuming that and is making a broad statement that the government is attempting to cover up. They are attempting to utilize a special strategy by removing the opposition chairman from the various oversight committees in the House of Representatives. He has not minced any words. He has made it clear that this is their intent. And he has stated that he will be putting up arguments to ensure that this changes. But with the 2/3 majority and more that the government holds in the House of Representatives, I am not sure what success Mr. Philip Paulwell will have with this endeavor. Of course, the Prime Minister has promised that he will be extremely responsible and accountable with this 2/3 majority that he currently holds in the House of Representatives. The rest is left to be seen. Whilst Mr. Paulwell is saying that in the last parliamentary year, there were attempts by the then JLP government to change the chairmanship of some committees after the release of some information that caused them embarrassment. Are well aware of these incidents that would have caused embarrassment in the Jamaica Labour Party administration during the last parliamentary year. And also you would have known about the issues that came up after. Now, of course, with every government, there are issues. So whilst it may be suggested by Mr. Paulwell that it is an attempt to ensure that all embarrassing details of this current government is kept under wraps, if he were in the same position, would he do the same? If he had the 2/3 majority in government, would he also have taken over the chairmanship of at least 4 of the committees in the House of Representatives? Or would he have chosen to remain true to the conventions that have been utilized in previous administrations to leave all of the oversight committees to be chaired by opposition members? Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.